Yeah, exactly, you do something there.
Some mutual agreement, one day free at the dump or something.
You know, as I
That
look
would be
forward to
good.
that, North Village offers, the township would offer that.
Well, maybe we could put a
Were you
token
working on
amount in
that
there.
one?
Well, Rob and I were, and we brought it to the township, and it's sort of on hold because it's winter, so.
Everything's on
Well, it's the,
There's no
for them
reference in the
to
winter.
make the decision. Well,
I mean,
to bring it sooner
Oh.
than for
Oh, I
township to make the
thought you wanted to-
decision.
I'm sorry.
I agree. They may.
I don't know, several people complain
No, 8 instead of 14.
Yeah, 8 instead of 14.
So how much then would we be? So we actually then to pull into the 101 for grants then would roughly be $31,000 that we would be pulling in then between police car grant and the park. Is that correct? And I'm just roughing numbers because you guys got a different one.
I don't, at this stage, I don't have any other line items to talk about tonight. I kind of wanted to wait to see what the conversation was going to be with respect to our meeting tonight. So I would like some more time to study the budget to see how that fits in.
I'm fine with everything. I would have a question, would be the flower care, knowing that that's double what we did last year would be my only one.
Okay.
Is that,
That's a good point, and that I should have discussed. What I would like to do with the flowers is to remove that from the DDA currently and the planning commission, hopefully down the road, and monitor that this year through us 7. I would like to see us hire a 20-hour-a-week person, half-time person, from the middle of April roughly until the end of October, in the growing season. And I think, based on my research, I'd like to see the hanging baskets put back up with bigger baskets than what we have had in the past. My understanding is that about $3,500 to $4,000 would cover that expense. The part-time person, 20 hours a week for that period to take care of that. And see if we can get it back on a basis where comments throughout town are saying, boy, they look really nice. They haven't looked really nice for the last couple of years. And I'm not just saying that, I'm hearing that.
well, Larry, I'd like to say one, I'm very pleased with the fact that you had a plan with more baskets. That helps me to understand a little more where you were coming from when you had the large number. I still wonder though, if that's a little bit, I mean, that's double what it's been the last 2 years. Knowing that we do have baskets, I talked with Candy a little bit, and knowing what she had said about how hard it is to maintain them when they're hanging.
So high.
They're so high, how do you get up to them to deadhead them or to weed them? They do have watering systems, which is a good thing, but that also increases the weed growth and the sun that kills them. And so, you know, I have a lot of questions, and Candy was one who decided to quit using them her last year there. And as I believe you said at one time, the flowers had never looked better than when she did them. And I talked to her a little bit also about it. And so I guess it looked more, that's a lot of money, $6,000 to take care of the flower beds. Is there any leeway in that? Is it?
There's leeway in everything.
Okay.
Is there any way we can put a pulley rope on it?
What about the garden club helping out with the labor? Those ladies love to do that sort of stuff.
They do.
No, I
I don't know, I mean, but I would hate to see, and I'm probably gonna get ridiculed for this, some of the gardening club on a ladder trying to take care of our,
Well, the village guys and their tractor can come along and help, it's a team effort. I mean,
we gotta keep the village guys out of the bucket of that loader. I'm sorry, but there's just something about that that
Larry?
screams liability.
Larry, do we put this out to bid? What do you think?
I would like to advertise it,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
the position, and provide for the funds to hire that person. I mean, we would have to meet with them, somebody would have to meet with them, so.
Would it be something even to look at, that maybe creating a contract and say, this is a set amount we're gonna pay for you guys to take care of the flowers, and then we'll absorb all the cost of materials? I mean, would we save money that way? Would it be easier on us? You know, I'm just looking out there, you know, I created the contract 2 years ago for the Sandy Bowden vendor. It works fairly good. We give her $1,500 up front, and then the meeting in July or whatever, we reviewed it and we agreed to pay her again. Now, I didn't hear a lot of complaints that year about it. Larry says he has. He said he heard complaints the following year. You know, I'm not a flower guy. There's a reason my wife don't ask me to do flowers in my house. And it's because
Mine doesn't ask me to do it at our
yeah,
house.
so I'm not gonna tell you I know flowers, but I do know research and talking with Candy and looking at the budget back for many years, guys. And as I've done budgets over the years, these historical revised budgets are a godsend. They will tell us everything that we have spent in the years, and in the flower beds, looking back, the most we ever spent was $7,000, or $7,100. The least was 22. Now, the $7,000 year, we purchased a lot of new equipment, a lot of the annuals that went in. You're not gonna buy that equipment again, is it? Now, you're talking bigger flower pots. That may be a large expense there that I'm not looking at. But just in the general basis of it, you will average about $3,000 a year to take care of them. So to go 6,000, now, if you're telling me that bigger pots cost that, I'm not gonna argue with that at all. But, so that were my questions,
The 30 to 40 bucks for the bigger flower pots is what I was told. That would- well, that would-
now, is that for the hanging ones, or is that for the
The
brown?
big ones like
For
the
the-
Charlevoix?
No, that's for the hanging one.
Yeah,
Charlevoix's a good example.
yeah.
But
They look gorgeous too.
My question then is, how do we maintain them? What do we do to help that person be able to maintain them, so we're not
Well,
wasting
that
money
would be part,
on
why would we
something
do
that's
anything if we're putting it out to a person or a bid service?
Yeah.
That's their problem, not ours.
But if we're buying the equipment,
We're not buying anything, would we? I mean, why?
We're
Why don't we put it out to
buying-
bid?
you'd be buying
We'll
the
buy the
pots and
flyers, but
flowers.
not the, we're not buying the, if the guy comes and wants a job and he doesn't have the sprinkler, that's, he needs to buy one.
we've got all of that stuff. I think it's primarily labor after the product is purchased. And we've got the cart that she used, and that's part of the
insurance
I just asked about it, because $6,000 is twice what we put in it before, and that's the only reason I'm asking, guys. I'm not
Yeah,
against
but it's a
doing it.
major improvement, we're gonna go from blah to.
Ours looks the worst of any.
That's right.
It really does.
Corey?
Well, it's changes are taking.
Why would you move that away from the DDA? The DDA is a board made up of people that have businesses and interest in the downtown area where these flowers are. And they want the flowers to look good too. DDA's had it under the jurisdiction 1 year, and it takes a couple of years usually to get stuff up and running.
That'd be something else.
That'd be the first year for this
Well,
flower too.
in light of the DDA, people may be going to the planning commission, that changes that whole scenario too.
It's still gonna be a board.
Right, if we combine them, it's still.
Right.
So why not? And, you know, I said that the last meeting, guys, it would be beneficial to support them, guys, to help them,
You guys,
support them downtown businesses and the people that want to do it.
the council created the board to do this kind of stuff. This is the stuff that can take care of the downtown area. That if you want to work better or increase our budget for doing it, that's something that I personally think that should be it. That's the whole reason we started the DDA, so that it's something that would focus on the downtown area. And if you want hanging baskets, that's a great idea. Let's bring it to the DDA meeting and discuss it and see how we can do it, how we can do it better than last year.
So it's not just, you're not just talking about downtown though, right? Are you talking about the other
Well, there's
flower
only
areas
three-
around town at the
There's only
park,
3
or-
beds that do not fall in the DDA district. Now, if we combine
Those
the
three are
DDA and
garden
planning, they
clubs.
all are gonna fall within that anyway,
That's
so
just
that wouldn't be an
another
issue.
concern.
But the 3 that are outside of it are London Morrison's, the Masonic Lodge, and down at the park.
So you're forgetting about the ones coming into town.
Them
Those
are the
three.
signs that the garden clubs take care of already.
Garden clubs take care of all those.
These are just the downtown areas. I don't disagree. Would there be an option, maybe Larry, that you would think about? I talked with Candy a little bit, and she said that she might even be consider consulting on it. Maybe put this to the DDA, give them that chance again for a year, let Candy consult with them maybe. If you thought that the flowers looked the best when she did. She even said that she may be interested in coming back and helping to do them. You know, was it not something she had told me on here just a week or so ago, but I think that we need some more talk if that would ever happen. But, you know, is that something?
Is that council?
I'd like to take it off the DDA's plate, just because we have one person we can call if something's wrong. Oh, this basket broke, this did that. It seems that we have one point person right there all the time, and it just it centralizes it, just seems to make it easier to be able to call one person, and to take something off of their plate.
It would still be one person though. I mean,
It's gonna be, oh, the flowers look like crap, they're gonna go to someone on the DDA, then it's gonna go to Cory, then it's gonna.
I see where you're going with that part, yeah, but it's still one
It
person.
doesn't necessarily have to, it could go to wherever we set it up. It's however we set it up to the DDA level, we could say, you know, you guys, this is the person we picked to do it, this is how we wanna do it, this is how we're gonna do it, approval of you to approve the budget for it. And we.
I say whatever we gotta do to make the flowers look the best is what I'm for, but I am in favor of what Cory's saying, is I think it's great to support them downtown businesses and say, here, make Central your own.
I think if we hire somebody outside, we have more teeth to monitor their activity and tell them if we're satisfied or dissatisfied with it. Because we can say, well, thank you for your time, we're gonna look to
You're right.
somebody next year.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Why don't we consider taking bids, including a bid from the DDA as an option?
Yeah.
Old company, whoever it is.
I just thought bringing it back to this body would simplify it.
You'd have more
And-
control.
And we put a big push on it this year. If it works out that way, great. If it doesn't work that way, maybe we give it back to the DDA or give it back to them if it does work out good this year. That was all. I mean, I'm not hung up on it. I'm not hung up on it. It's done, as long as it gets done.
That's kind of the beauty of the DDA too, if they fail, we get it back anyway, you know, or if we want to take it. I just, what kind of message are you sending to them now when you gave it to them last year, and now you give them 1 year to try to do it? And maybe they didn't do the greatest they were learning, what message are we sending? We say, no, can't do it now. It's,
Are you talking hiring an employee or subbing it out? Because remember, if you hire an employee, you pay him comp, you pay their FICA wages, and you will pay their unemployment.
Not an employee, it would be a contract, I would think, not an employee.
Yeah.
'Cause we got caught in that.
Yeah.
The unemployment rules changed, and after so many weeks that they sign up, they draw unemployment.
well, I can tell you that, we hired a part-time person just to mow for 7 weeks, and we paid almost $3,800 in unemployment. We're still paying $2,700 of that this year in our next budget.
So if you want to, I'm just reminding you,
The
Joe, just
contract
make sure
was
you
the way to
budget
go.
for it, because those things change, so whatever you choose to do, just budget properly for it.
And that's why the contract was such a good idea for us. Thank you for reminding me of that.
I leave it up to council. I mean, I'm not hung up on it either way. So
Well, even if we.
I just wanted to see it look better than what it's looked ever. That's
So
all.
your specifications are $6,000 hanging baskets that cost approximately between $3,500 to $40 each. All right. Last year they did not, what was your budget last year on that?
We had $3,000 budget, of which we spent 25.
All right.
I think.
How about we do this, how about we take the bids, let them bid on it too, and then make our decision there. I do believe that the contract is the way to go, regardless who gets it. If
Well,
EPA does, or we do, whoever. the contract is,
Yeah, I know the contract.
let them bid on it.
Well, we definitely want to sub it out, we're not gonna hire anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Larry, we just want them to look good.
Yeah.
And I wanna support the businesses and do it, if they can.
I like the bid idea, that's legit, that keeps the DDA engaged if they want to, or whoever else, if someone can come up with a better price, or a superior job, then
Well, that's what, the problem with bids is you're bidding on price, you're not bidding on the quality of work. Because that's what we did last year as a DDA, we bid on price. And we got 3 bids from local area businesses, and we went with this person, we got a recommendation from a business owner downtown. And it was for so much an hour, and it was the best price, and they did do a good job, and let's just go ahead with it.
If you, because I know you heard some of the complaints last year that they didn't look good.
It was also an especially cold year, there was not a whole lot of flowers.
But have you, as the DDA president, have you put any thought into what to do this next year, so that wasn't an issue?
We actually, last year, Tom Kenyon and I sat down, it was on the drawing board, on how to increase the number of flowers downtown. And hanging baskets weren't necessarily an option, because we didn't even know we had them. It was something that we never got from the village, was in the information.
Unfortunately, that would be my fault, if not.
Yeah, so we didn't know there was any hanging baskets, so we talked about doing planters downtown, we talked about doing a couple different things. And we went out and got bids and found some designs and stuff that would work. And then with the budget being what it was for last year, we decided not to go ahead with that.
Either way, their budget could be amended anytime you either put the money into the DDA and let them do it, or you assign it ourselves. I don't think it's something we have to decide tonight, is it? Maybe everybody brainstorm and get good ideas.
I'm 100% behind big, good looking flowers down there.
Absolutely, I
We
agree
do
with
need,
We went against consumers' energy and putting the irrigation system in those poles. And they got upset with us, but they're there, so.
Might as well use them.
They haven't been used for a couple of years, so my feeling is we gotta use them, since we pay for them.
absolutely, they were expensive.
And I think in order to make it a little easier to maintain, they've gotta drop down a little. But I think Sam and the boys can figure something out that would do that. So maybe it would only be a 6-foot ladder to get up on rather than a front end loader.
Is there maybe something that we could look at, and there would be a cost associated with this, but it would be a one-time cost, maybe putting a pulley in the cable system where they could be unhooked and drop down, so there is no ladder. I mean, is that something?
I don't think you should have is a pulley.
If you really want to do it the right way,
Contract.
ask Clark, the flower group, or whatever you want to call them, to write an RFP. Then you put it out to RFP, where people respond to it, a certain set of specs. Or you just, you put it out as an RFP, and everybody gets all fancy, and then goes to a proposal. And then you pick the best design, and you don't, and then you weigh it, like, 50% is creativity and 50% is price. Or you weigh 80% price and 25% creativity.
Right.
And that's how you review the bids. That's how you normally do a bid for almost anything. Make up your mind, it's RFP or RFP. Because they're a little more creative than
Yeah.
you put RFP out.
Just one more quick comment, and I gotta say, I like the idea of an employee, it's an expense, because you, as Larry said, and Rob, you have something you can hold accountable. You bid it out, they give you a bid, what do you do if a month later they just don't do it? No, I agree, an employee has a lot of benefits, I'm just saying, it comes with an expense. So just figure the expenses, is it worth it? Hire an employee, they do a bad job, I mean, you know the reality of it, you get rid of them.
So if we say we got 6,000, we actually figure 5,000 of that, because 1,000's getting eaten up in other expenses.
I never said an employee, I just said a contract with somebody. That person
Full
is-
contract, yeah, don't pay until the check.
No, that's like the guy that cuts my lawn, he's not an employee, if he doesn't weed whack, I get rid of him.
Right.
I mean, that's, if Cory has somebody that does that and you can can them, I'm fine with that, but I just, I guess I was naive, I thought that it was the DDA and said, oh my gosh, there was never one point person, but apparently at least there was a point person, that's fine. I'll leave it with that.
No, I'm just gonna hit this.
I hate to do it, since we're working on the budget. We paid for this water and sewer rate study because it keeps our system accountable and fresh. And according to the water study that I have, this year, we should be increasing our water rates by 2.5%, if mine is accurate to what I have. Is that something that we plan to do? The sewer, I believe, is laying
How
flat
do you
right this
determine
year.
that, Joe?
This has been the water and sewer rate study done by Rural Water.
So they're telling you that it needs to be increased.
We own the
by
program. We own the
2.5. But
program.
that's, you're basing it on their,
Well, we own the program. We put in all the credentials, everything that needs to be done, the different programs, and then they project out for 30 years to maintain healthy fund balances, to maintain that system for replacement. The
that's
future
data we've
stuff.
already got, you're just saying execute what that's saying.
Well, normally we would increase, I think over the last few years since started this, it was 1%.
One thing we talked about though is if we do follow the plan, then we do a 2% increase 1 year instead of not doing anything for 10 years and then do a 10-20%.
Right, this is on a yearly basis we
You
do.
know, and you know, it's,
And this
if
is
we
only,
don't do it, we wasted a lot of money on it.
right. This report came May of 2014. Mike Ingles and Sam put it together for us. And this would show a water increase rate of 2015 by 2.5%. That is not figured into this budget right now. And unfortunately, I could not find my existing sewer one. Rachel sent them to me, but they kind of spewed on my iPad. So, I mean, that's something I think we need to consider, are we going to, I mean, that's why we purchased this system, and, you know, as enterprise funds, the state says we have to be able to justify our rates, why, how, and all that, and we now have both these funds are paying for themselves, they're sustaining, and they're building fund balances for the future.
If you neglect
If we neglect it, then that's gonna fall short eventually.
10 years from now, you're gonna be a shortfall again.
We're gonna be back to where we were.
Then you get a 25% increase and you have people screaming.
The people are gonna scream regardless. We raise 1%, they're gonna scream, we raise 2.5.
I'm talking about my own bill. I can stand a 2% increase a lot better than I can stand a
Well, before,
10 years down the road.
25% increase.
I would recommend to make sure that I do have the most current copy of this, because I know there was one that came out when there was some proposals for the water boards on Herrick and the water main going down through Herrick and stuff. So let's before we actually make something, have Sam go back into this and make sure that these are the correct projections. And then do we plan to follow through with them still? I mean, I would say yes,
Instead of kicking the can down the road.
instead of kicking the can down the road.
Yeah, there's still budget considerations that need to be.
Yep, and then this all goes into that big picture. When we're doing the budgeting and, you know, we're looking at that big picture, are we gonna do these new streets that we have proposed $120,000, knowing that we may be tearing them up to put a granite, or a water line down to the park? There's a lot of things that come into play with this as we move forward. And I think everybody just needs to keep that in the back of their mind to remember.
Well, it's the same thing you said a while ago, though, just because we budgeted for them, if there's a, construction here, let's not quit.
Well, I just bring that to the council's attention. Should we have Sam go back in and relook at these to make sure that they're correct?
I would say so.
I would.
I would too.
Okay.
And then
Water and sewer?
put that in the
Rod, will
agenda
you, or
or-
Rod, will you get with Sam and see if they'll run these numbers again and let us know? It's on the very last page.
We have that.
You gotta go on this one.
Okay, that will get reflected in the budget before our next meeting. I think anything else that anybody sees, what I would like to see us do is communicate at this stage, the budget changes that you would like to see reviewed. And hopefully, we can have this put together by our next meeting to where we can approve it. But it's gonna require some paper being delivered and maybe an email or two or whatever, if somebody's got a concern.
So my list of questions I stick in Joe's box,
Sure. Don't stick nothing in the what?
in your box.
Oh.
Oh, boy. Everybody's getting tired.
Yep, that's stop the discussion on the budget at this point in time. Public comment, anybody?
I'm just, when's the public hearing on the budget gonna be?
Good question, I don't know that yet.
I mean, I know you're holding a special meeting for it, I'm just curious.
I don't know that yet either, I'm tossing it around in my mind, we may have to, but, so, yeah, I just can't say. Anybody else have anything? Need a motion to adjourn? Chapman made the motion. Support. Conley. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion carried, drive safely going home. Give it a
Oh, no, they got recorded?
I'll make a deal.
Look at that light.
It's nicer than my car, taking off the road.
Okay, we're done.
I was misinformed.
Some verbiage problems, like a misinterpretation of Graham and you guys, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is, nobody's trying to abolish it.
Yeah.
Take it.